Okay, I will take you back to the feed where the the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, is addressing the press.
Only at the point of registration, the most important part of verifying the register happens when there is exhibition. And it is precisely for the purpose of checking the existence of wrong names on the register and the omission of some right names on the register that the nation spends huge amounts of money to exhibit the register in the localities, the very localities where the names were captured. And then citizens are invited to go and then object to the existence of names they think should not belong to the voters' register. From 2012 to date, that facility has been available. In fact, after 2014 limited registration, there was a whole exercise to exhibit a voters' register. We fielded 26,000 party agents to scrutinize the register. And I must add, we are yet to pay some of them. and because of that, we have some problems with those we deployed. But they were available for the exercise. And I believe in several of those polling stations, we met the MPP polling agents as well. So why would they not give them these 76,000 lists to do their objection and process it through the provisions of CI 72? Ladies and gentlemen, the conduct of MPP in this whole voter register, replacement of voter register, reminds me of GSS people who got access to an answer to a question, a mathematical question, and he is now looking for a formula that will generate that answer. Because they will first say that this is the reason why we say we should replace the register. When that is defeated, they jump to another reason why we should replace the register. When that is defeated, jump to another one. Rather, pragmatic problem solving begins with situational analysis. Then, when you identify the problems, then you look for possible solutions to the problem. And then you test each of the possible solutions before you settle on one and begin to implement. No, MPP has chosen the formula, what they need to do. And they now want to take it back into the possible options and take it beyond that one to feed into the results of the situation analysis. They are putting problem solving upside down because they have a ready-made solution and they are looking everywhere for the problem which will be, which they will apply the solution to. Another example of the ridiculousness inherent in the MPP's claim is that the Ghanaian electoral register was compiled in 2012, while that of Togo was compiled in 2013 and revised in 2015. On what basis can it be said that 3 years after the elections have been held in Ghana, voters whose nationality the MPP questions on the basis of the fictitious 2015 Togolese register influenced the outcome? Is it the case that the MPP is saying that Ghanaians rather registered in Togo to influence the outcome of the Togolese elections? And unless they tell us that there is absolute certainty that people cannot move from Ghana to register in Togo, so they are very certain that wave flow is not possible. It is only there and then that they can then conclude that even if they found the names of people on the register, both in Ghana and in Togo, it can only happen that they were Togolese who came to register in Ghana. They must let us engage in scientific analysis. And then we will arrive at solutions to our national problems. But this type of approach, I'm sorry, is very, very problematic. Though we are convinced as I have said, that these claims are false, even if they were to be true, there are provisions, very rigorous provisions in the CI 72 that can be applied to delete these names without the compilation of a voters register. Now, suppose loss of confidence in Ghana's electoral system, and that is the last issue that I'll be dealing with. The New Patriotic Party, citing a report of the Center for Democratic Development, also claimed that the outcome of the frivolous electoral petition has resulted in the waning of public confidence in our electoral process. This, they say, is further justification for the need for a new register. This is the most absurd argument that can be made by any political party the size of the New Patriotic Party. We are unable to come to terms with the thinking behind such a stance. It is incongruous that a party that goes to court with a petition challenging the validity of the results of the 2012 elections and having same dismissed by the Supreme Court will turn round and say that the dismissed petition has resulted in the loss of confidence of the electoral system. The electoral system generates results, and you claim that these results are not correct. So we are going to Supreme Court to challenge the validity. So you go to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court affirms the validity of the elections. Ladies and gentlemen, between the one whose results have been upheld and the one whose frivolous petition has been dismissed, who should the public have confidence in?
So in your shot there is Johnson Asiedu Nketia, is the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, and they are dismissing demands by the opposition New Patriotic Party for the Electoral Commission to draw up a new voters register. We know the NPP is claiming that their research provides evidence that the electoral roll is bloated with more than 70,000 foreigners, Togolese, on that list. But the NDC insists the NPP are just making noise. We are joined in the studio by political desk correspondent Malik Dabu. Malik, so you've been listening and monitoring Johnson Asiedu Nketia. What are the points he is putting out to reject, the claims by the NPP?
What he simply has done is pick the major planks of the NPP's case and then seek to question the credibility of each one. First of all, the NPP says that when they compare the electoral roll used for the 2012 elections to the Togolese electoral roll used for their elections this year, they find about 76,000 plus people appearing on both registers. Their arguments are that these are Togolese who, by dint of close proximity, living very close to Ghana, have access to our systems. They registered here and participated in our elections. Asiedu Nketia says that's a very unsustainable argument on the basis of which to found a suggestion that we should have this register totally scrapped and a new one compiled. His reasons are there are inbuilt in our system processes by which you can eliminate these people even if they were confirmed as Ivorians. He first of all questions the suggestion that these are Ivorians, and he says, in the alternative, if they are found to be Ivorians, Togolese, the answer is not to scrap the system. The answer is to use the challenge systems that are inbuilt in our electoral process to remove them from the electoral rule, i.e., the MPP should go to the Electoral Commission as they did yesterday, go and ask them not to scrap the electoral rule, but look at these people, find out their backgrounds. Are they actually Togolese? If they are Togolese and have no right to register in our system, let's purge the electoral rule of these people. That will be the answer, and not the suggestion that we should compile a new register. Then he picks the argument about astronomical increases in voter population in some constituencies. And he says that to suggest that this is a problem is to express a certain naivety about the electoral process. His arguments are because of economic and social reasons, people move, and they move in large numbers. Because people move in large numbers, if you find that between 2008 and 2012, in certain constituencies, the number of people there have increased beyond a certain threshold, you cannot say that it is because of some foul play. It can only be because maybe they have found gold in the area and people have moved in to go and mine the gold, and therefore, or some economic activities are generated in that area and people have moved there, or it's a new settlement and people are moving there. The response of the MPP to him, to his argument, is that no, a lot of these constituencies are border region constituencies. So it's not about economic activity being generated and for which reason people are going there. It is simply because they have some other motivation or some other circumstance may have resulted in the questionable increases in the voter population in those constituencies. Now,
we know the NPP put out what they call their evidence. We saw pictures of these people who are in the Ghana's register, and also Togolese as well. Johnson Asiedu Nketia says that these were doctored. How has he been substantiating that claim?
Well, his view is that when the NPP released the document, there was no proof on the face of the document. There was no proof that these were, this was an electoral rule from Togo. And that is true, because if you have what we had, which they shared at the press conference yesterday, addressed by the flag bearer Nanadu and Bawumia, it does not state whether this is prima facie an electoral rule from Togo. Now,
so they could have come from anywhere, not necessarily about doctrine.
However, having said that, when Asiedu Nketia raised that argument yesterday, the MPP have released more photographs that then show the name of the person in the Togolese register, the age, the polling center, and all of that. Those were missing in the documents.
So the missing details are now available.
They are now supplying those missing details. We spoke to Obi Amoah yesterday, who said that if Asiedu Nketia and the NDC want the original voters register as obtained from the Togolese authorities, they can make it available to them. In fact, he intimated that that has been made available to the Electoral Commission, which they are petitioning anyway to look into this matter.
Now, he makes an accusation against the NPP of tribalism in all of this. It's hard to understand. How has he backed that?
Well, you know that both political parties often trade these accusations. And one of the key accusations that has always been leveled against the NPP is that they are ethnic-based political party, is mainly a Kan party. And the NDC does that knowing that there's there's political gain to be made. So what he did was simply perpetuating that perception that NPP is primarily an account party, and it should not be taken seriously. It's not a broad-based party as the NDC is.
Okay, now we know that the Electoral Commission is actually considering these claims by the NPP. Any more information as to that?
No, Sylvia, not told us that they have received the documents, they will look into it, they have the infrastructure and the facilities to look into the claims being made by the NPP. If they find out that there's merit in the claims, they will take the appropriate steps to try and deal with the concerns.
Okay, we'll see how that pans out. But thank you very much, Malik Dabu. He is with our political desk. And we've been talking about the NDC's press conference, a counter press conference, following the claims yesterday by the NPP that Ghana's voters register is bloated. We'll take a quick break. We'll bring you more stories after. Welcome back to News Today on Joy News on Multi TV. I'm Francisca Kakrafos, and government is planning to recruit about 177 doctors from Cuba to work at state-run hospitals as the ongoing strike by public doctors here in Ghana takes a toll on health care. Health Minister Alex Segbefia announced that government would also retain Cuban physicians currently in the country whose contracts had expired. He ordered doctors to return to work latest by tomorrow, Thursday, warning a policy of no work, no pay would be applied for those who refused.
Let me deal first with the Cuban doctors. Every year, we have a number of Cuban doctors come into the country to assist. At the moment, we have 16. Most had departed, waiting for the new batch to arrive. And we have 16 still waiting to leave. You tend to find that most of our foreign doctors who come to assist us, and I have to take this opportunity to thank the people of Cuba and the Cuban government and other countries that have assisted us in the past, they tend to work more in the rural areas. And therefore you don't see them in the teaching hospitals as often as other doctors. Our own doctors tend to stay in the teaching hospitals. So all that we are saying is that they may be more visible now because the 16 may be moved from the rural areas, where I must indicate that most doctors are actually working in the rural areas and in the regions. The weight of this strike is felt within the teaching hospitals. And let me be clear, these are Kolebu, Okomfonoche, to some extent Cape Coast. Tamale is working as per normal. The doctors have not gone on strike. So it is not nationwide. They are working doctors. But because these 3 teaching hospitals are the major referral hospitals and take the brunt of people who are sick, it is felt more. And so with the Cuban doctors, instead of leaving them where they are, we intend to start bringing them in.
A former president of the Ghana Medical Association is criticizing the failure of the National Labour Commission to intervene in the association's impasse with government, which has resulted in a strike by doctors. Dr. Emmanuel tells Joy News that the Labour Commission is one of the key institutions that can help resolve the matter. He also criticized government's decision to bring in doctors from Cuba and recruit retired doctors as a contingency measure to deal with the crisis.
The GMA problem can be resolved. There is no need to bring in Cuban doctors or recall retired doctors from their rest to come and help. They can solve this problem. And the cost to this country, engaging retired doctors and Cuban doctors, is much higher than sorting out the doctors in this country. We know their deficiencies because, number one, they don't speak English. And I can tell you sometimes their skills and ability to work leaves much to be desired. I've worked with them. I know them. And we are also losing good hands while the strike goes on. People are going out of the country. If they can't make it in Ghana, their services are required all over this continent and beyond this continent. So we are losing very critical caliber of people in this country while the strike goes on. And government is being so adamant in sitting down to talk.
If you say we are losing people, how is that?
People are going out to ply their trade.
Which people?
Doctors are going out.
Is it because of the
frustration? Why not? A Ghanaian doctor is always welcome. Anywhere in the world, anywhere in Africa. They are in hot demand. So if I can get mine.
So as we speak now, we have some like GMA members.
Members of GMA, they have been going before this problem and they are continuing to go. So it's not going to solve the problem. I would want to appeal to Minister of Health that business of bringing in Cuban doctors, calling in retired workers, and all those stopgap measures isn't going to help solve the problem. I think this posture of macho, trying to push people to come to work is not going to help anybody. When we had that meeting last, the rank and file were saying, look, if it means losing our salaries or losing our jobs, we are prepared to do that.
To that extent?
Yes, it's gone that far. Doctors stayed 11 months without any salaries, and yet they continued working. If they have to go on, as far as I understand from what happened last Friday, they are prepared to do that. I think the best thing to do now is for sober minds to prevail. Let the minister and his group sit down. GMA is always ready to sit down. I think they would talk it over and come to an amicable solution. What I'm very sad about is that he, as a minister today, the collapse of the health service will be put on his head.
Put on his head how?
Yes, because it was on his watch. It is on his watch that all this mess is happening.
Just one more day and we will know whether doctors will be back to work or not. Today, government hospitals have been asked to resume operations. Chances are that you may just get a checkup by a retired doctor. But if the doctors refuse to go back to work tomorrow, Cuban doctors will go to the rescue. A section of the public Joy News spoke with insist government and the doctors must resolve their differences so they get back to work.
Government's bringing in Cuban doctors. Do you think it's feasible and that's going to solve this problem we are having in the health sector?
My problem about the doctors. You said you wanted 2016. So why don't you work and continue to negotiate with the government? We are not in 2016. We are 2015. So why do you have to go to strike? So if you are not ready to do it, someone will do it because people are dying.
So you support government bringing in the Cuban doctors?
Yes, because you see, the doctors have become too proud in this country. Too much.
It's something between the government and the doctors, so they should just sit down and try and come to an agreement, because right now lives have been lost and we cannot say that the Cuban doctors can solve everything. There are so many doctors in Ghana who can do all these things, so the government should just work on this and let them come back and save lives.
And they should find a way of solving the striking problem than bringing in because the same people you are bringing, they are the same people, they will be also doing what the other people did.
Our own doctors must be patriotic. They say they should reconsider their stance.
With the advent of these strikes, we can't allow our citizens to be dying because doctors are on strike. And so wherever we get doctors to come and help, save lives, why not? Let's do it to save human lives.
Do you think that's the best solution to this problem?
For now, so long as our Ghanaian doctors are on strike, we can't be trading human lives because of money.
But government can judge with them?
Of course, that's I know they are doing, but per the laws of our country, you can't be on strike whilst you negotiate.
Today is the deadline issued to managers of government hospitals to ensure the resumption of full operations in all departments. Health correspondent Fred Smith has been to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and joins us with the latest. Fred, you reported earlier that you saw some doctors at Kolebu. Are they working?
Well, the doctors, I did not see them at work except at the surgical department where the doctors there are seeing patients, and that's on, I'm told, on humanitarian grounds. At the main OPD of the hospital, no patients are being admitted or being seen, also because of the strike. Nurses there have told me that they don't know how to handle these patients if they take them, since their doctors are not available. We do understand that management of the hospital are due to meet today to discuss or to respond to the government's directive yesterday, but that meeting is yet to come off. as the chief executive is out of the hospital. I also chanced on a meeting by the GMA, between the GMA and the National House of Chiefs, and the appeal to them is for them to call off the strike. I spoke to Dr. Justice Yankson, who is Deputy General Secretary for the GMA, after this meeting, and he says that they are not calling off the strike, and they will only come back to work if they have conditions of service. It doesn't matter if their employments will be terminated or the salaries will be cut. They will remain on strike.
So, Fred, just to get an understanding of what you're saying, Dr. Yankson, in your interaction with him, says that the strike will continue despite government's order that they should come back, and also government's plans to bring some Cuban doctors to assist.
Exactly. He says they will remain on strike until they have conditions of service. And so whether they have, there's an ultimatum for them to call off or not, they will remain on strike. But don't forget, there's a meeting between the Ghana Medical Association, the government negotiation team, and the National Labour Commission later today. And that may also define the future of this strike.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on the ground and get you the latest. That's Fred Smith from the Kolibu Teaching Hospital. This is still News Today on Joy News on Multi TV with me, Francisca Kakra-Forson. We'll take a quick break. Beatrice Edu will return with business.
Welcome to the business segment on News Today on Joy News on Multi TV. In our very first story, the Forum for Agriculture Research in Africa, FARA, is calling for the use of science to boost agriculture production in Africa. Executive Director of FARA, Yemi Akimbamijo, tells Joy Business Africa is capable of feeding the entire world, but is currently food insufficient because it is yet to embrace science in facilitating and boosting its production.
Definitely. I mean, who else is using hoes and cutlasses? And as I always say, I mean, if the generation that went before us handed over the hoes and cutlasses to us, we will fail the future if we will hand over the hoes and cutlasses to the generation coming behind us. In most of the countries that are self-sufficient in food production today, hoes and cutlasses are now in the museum, not on the fields. So the way we still do our business, our agriculture, is not different from what my grandparents did. And common conventional thinking says if you did what you always do, you will get the result you always got. So it's not far-fetched that we are not self-sufficient, despite the fact that 65% of the arable land on this planet is still with us, despite the fact that more than 70% of fresh water in this planet is still on this continent, despite the fact that we still have the youngest population in Africa compared to any area in the world, and yet we are still not able to feed ourselves. This is very simple. We are sitting on a gold mine, but we need to pay the price to break us out. If we have what it takes to break Africa out, to be able to embrace science, to be able to implement science, to be able to mainstream science in the way we do our agriculture, this continent cannot just feed itself, it will feed the world.
The Supreme Court has fined the Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance, UNICOF, 10,000 cedis after it withdrew its application at the court against the Agricultural Development Bank's IPO. UNICOF had wanted the court to stop the initial public offer until parliamentary approval was given. The Supreme Court has also barred UNICOF from reapplying any petition against the offer. Let's get more on this from my colleague Chantel Asante, who was at the court today. Chantel, so tell us what happened in court today?
Well, Beatrice, what happened was that UNICOF decided to withdraw its application or its suit against ADB and the Attorney General over ADB's IPO. I interacted with the lawyer for UNICOF, and he is saying that he is not yet able to give us any reasons why they decided to withdraw the application. They're just saying that it's tactical and it's confidential. But basically what it means is that there's no more a suit against ADB. Now, for ADB's lawyer, that's Tony Letha, he said that it had been a waste of their time, and therefore they
they pushed for the money to be slapped, the amount of money to be slapped on UNICOF.
But on UNICOF. So then now UNICOF has to pay 5,000 cedis each to each of them, and there are two defendants in this case. You have ADB, you have the Attorney General. So that's what happened.
That's an interesting twist to this. Did UNICOF tell you how it took this twist to their, petition?
Well, UNICOF's lawyer is saying that they have decided, for reasons best known to them, that it would be in the best interest of this case if they withdrew it. So they cannot give us reasons why. I spoke with the lawyer. He said that he couldn't really give me a reason why they were doing that, but it was for the best interest of the union.
But they are not bothered at all that they've been slapped with 10,000 cedis?
I think that is a result of an action they took. I mean, they really have they cannot complain, they just have to comply. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chantel Asante, reporting from the Supreme Court. Let's now move on to other stories. And the Oil Palm Development Association wants the Food and Drugs Authority to be held responsible for the discovery of carcinogens in Ghanaian-produced oil palm on the United Kingdom market. The association fears the discovery of carcinogens in Ghana's palm oil would negatively affect sales. Latif Idris joins us on the phone lines with more on this. Latif, what exactly are they blaming the FDA for?
Yes, the president of the association, Samuel Avala, says that the whole, leakage that led to this oil palm zombie finding its way onto the UK market is because of part of the system failure that we have in this country. Now he's blaming authorities that are supposed to check and ensure that we have quality products getting out of the Ghanaian market onto the international market. He said that they failed in their duties. That is how come we had this zombie finding its way onto the UK market. Now, what this group is now advocating is that they want a board to be established so that just like we have a cocoa board, you have an oil palm plantation board which will supervise the activities of this industry to ensure that they also come out on top as we've seen cocoa board over the years.
Indeed, thank you very much, Latif Idrisu there. Now, Ghanaian travel agents for Ethiopian Airlines have been awarded with prizes worth $100,000 for excellence in their work. The airline, which currently operates the biggest passenger aircraft in Ghana, the Boeing 787, believes this will motivate players in the industry.
Kempong, Graceland, Accra Travel and Tour were among the agencies awarded $100,000 from Ethiopian Airlines. Others, including Sadhguru and Travel Matters, received certificates for their outstanding performance in increasing the passenger load of the airline during the period. Country manager of Ethiopian Airlines, Jeanette Michael, explains the initiative aims to help increase the load of their latest aircraft, the 787, which currently stands at 70%.
Yeah, we are doing good. 787, it's almost 6 months from now we started, and it's doing good. We have done a lot on promotion, on the marketing and sales activity. We have done a lot to get. We have revised all our fares, and we have given more incentive, more commission to the travel agents, so that we are to encourage them to sell more. And we are picking. We are good now.
There will be similar handouts every 6 months for travel agents who meet or exceed their respective targets.
And that'll be all for Business Today on News Today on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Beatrice Edu. Join us again tomorrow.
Back to Ghana, but this time to tennis. About 20 girls have been selected from all 10 regions of Ghana to participate in the first ever girls tennis camp in Accra. Together with their coaches, the girls will be trained in social and life skill issues and tennis to take over from current female tennis players. Filipina Frimpong is General Secretary of the Ghana Tennis Federation.
Yes, it's our first national girls camp. It started yesterday. We've gathered girls under the age of 16 from all the regions of Ghana to come to Accra with their coaches to benefit from tennis training and also knowledge enrichment. When I say knowledge enrichment, I'm saying we have put together other programs aside from the tennis that we think girls at that age will benefit from. So, for example, they are currently in there taking a talk on adolescent sexual health. They are going to do personal hygiene. They will do menstrual hygiene. They've done Ebola prevention and cholera prevention. They did that yesterday. They'll do a lot of tours. We take them to places of interest to meet women, accomplished women in Ghana. So we are packing it together. We're doing a package of tennis and life skills development for them.
Still in tennis, the Ghana Tennis Federation is optimistic of sweeping gold medals at the All-Africa Games in Brazzaville, Congo next month. Again, here's General Secretary Philippina Frimpong.
The coaches have put together a very good program. They've done all the fitness they need to do. They've been doing their hitting. They've been playing doubles. We've been doing all of that. Yesterday and today, they had to go to 37 to complete their medicals. Tomorrow, they are back on the court. They are going to be hitting some more. Morale in the camp is very high. The mood is high. The boys they are all pushing themselves. Everybody wants to be the one who wins because there's only one medal in tennis: singles champion, women's champion. So everybody wants to be the one.
Let's talk athletics now. And Sebastian Coe was elected as the new head of international athletics on Wednesday and promised to stand by his campaign pledge to set up an independent anti-doping body for the embattled sport. The International Association of Athletics Federation, IAAF, has been battered by allegations over the last 3 weeks of widespread doping in track and field, while the 58-year-old Briton said an independent body was the only way to ensure an end to any questioning about the IAAF's vigilance. He also said he was inheriting a very strong sport from Senegalese Lamine Diack. As two-time Olympic 1,500-meter champion and head of the organizers for the 2012 London Olympics, Coe won the presidency by beating Ukraine's Sergei Bubka 115-92 in a ballot of the IAAF's 50th Congress. He starts his new job on August 31, the day after the World Championships end in Beijing. So that's it for sports. There are more sports headlines on myjoyonline.com. My name is Baba Tando. Good afternoon.
You're still here on News Today. The program continues. 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds at dawn on Tuesday when robbers attacked residents of Promised Land, an area close to Ajay-Kojo here in Accra. The robbers also made away with property and monies belonging to the residents. One of the victims, who was shot in the leg, is receiving treatment at the 37 Military Hospital. Nadede Tete was in the area and his father's report.
According to residents, the robbers, who were 4 in number, stormed the area at about 1 a.m. this dawn and started firing indiscriminately. One of them recounts what he saw.
When my come there, I'm robbers around, so I just rushed out. Well, he heard the firing, so I came outside and stood at the curtain, opened the curtain. Now, so one man was standing here firing, but I cannot open and come inside because if I come, he will fire me. So I was also standing and watching him. So whatever he did was that not knowing there was another 3 people inside. So they were doing the operation. So after people have been surrounded, they heard the armed robbers around me. They started to run to the other side. So because of that, and the other man, not knowing that he shot one man there, the one who was inside, they shot him, they called Mr. George. They shot him and then his leg. So that the blood stinking on the road, on the map there. So just after that, he was limping. So there's a certain woman inside there who has a car. So he took him in the car and then sent him to the hospital.
In one of the houses, the robbers attacked one of the residents, said a gun was pointed at her 3-year-old son.
3 guys with guns threatening us to bring out our money. Where is the money? They came in and said, scan off here, the scan away. And so, scan away. Move for scan. They will bring out our bags, our handbags. Say, scabby and you. So, Madabra, part show, and scabia. Then I said, Mikra, I was naked. And so, Munche, and any 3 days now, me and drug on a hospital by. So, the move for scambra. Then he wanted to slap me. And so, oh, Bria, part show, and scabia. Then you use the gun, say, so one for scan. ba me shutu ba no say, oh, we patrol in this kabia of no say. Then he went back to the other room, and the other two guys went there to take the TV, the flash screen TV, and his bag was there. They take the bag out. When there is money in the bag, they take everything out. Before we came out, they were gone. Until the fair police, so they came in numbers. They came back. The harm was already done.
An executive of the Residents Association said robbery attacks in the area have seen a sharp increase since the neighborhood watchdog committee fell apart.
If I'm not mistaken, this is about the 9th or the 10th robbery that has gone on in the area. We sent a letter to the regional police, the district, and they are all aware that we were a watchdog committee in the area. So it was successful, but somewhere along the line, broke down. So for about 5 months now, that thing has ceased, and I think that's the reason why they've also taken advantage to attack.
The matter has since been reported to the police. It comes after similar attacks on other outlying areas such as Kaswa and Manfrom on the fringes of the Greater Accra region.
Franca, what would you do if you were working in the mall?
This history was
you know, a guy pulls up and gives you a very expensive, classic, latest phone and says, I'll call you on this number.
I'll take it, but I won't take his call.
Well, we have been talking to some ladies out there. They also have been telling us what exactly they would do. And the men also actually gave their reaction. So let's take a watch now. It's very exciting when we have to talk relationship. Okay, so this is the scenario. A guy and his girlfriend are walking in the mall, and this guy from nowhere comes over and hands the lady a very expensive phone and tells the lady, I'll call you on this number. If you are the lady, what will you do with the phone?
Oh, I'll take the phone. I'll take the phone and accept the call from him.
When your boyfriend is there?
Yeah, I want to know what he means or what the reason why he gave me the phone. So I want to find out.
Why would you call me on another line? I have a number. If you need my number, I can give it to you. I don't accept gifts from strangers. I'm with my boyfriend. You need to respect that.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll take the phone. Yeah.
And wait for the call?
Nope, I won't wait for the call. I just change maybe the chip or something. At all.
Okay, thank you.
If I don't run after him to give him the phone, I may give the phone to my boyfriend. He should do whatever he wants to do with it. Because I don't know what to do with the phone.
I don't really know. My guy will be angry, I guess. But if the phone is that expensive, I think I will take off the chip, then take the phone.
This is actually something that happened over the weekend at the Accra Mall.
Okay.
Yeah. So
did the girl take the phone?
Yeah. She took it, but the guy is confused as of now. He doesn't know what to do with himself.
Well, man.
But before we go, Kim Kardashian's younger sister, Kylie Jenner, her 18th birthday party in Montreal was so big. It was also big business for everyone involved. Not only did Kylie make big money, but the club and the promoters scored 6-figure paychecks. According to TMZ, Beach Club raked in about $150,000 for Kylie's big day, while the promoters took home around $100,000. They took in $300,000 at the door, but paid Kylie $2,000 to show up. Beach Club's owner Olivier tells TMZ he spent an additional $30,000 just to make sure the night went flawlessly. Okay, so here's the breakdown of the $30,000. He says $1,500 went to build a deck so she wouldn't have to walk in the sand in her heels. $4,000 for 2 specially built private bathrooms near the stage so Kylie wouldn't have to go through thumbing through the crowd to actually use the restrooms, and $10,000 for security, which included 100 security guards. So you can imagine if this is for just an 18-year-old girl, what would Obama's own be for the inauguration?
I have no idea, but I don't think Obama is a spender who's going to spend so much money on a birthday party.
Anyway, right.
Okay,
so
but that's it.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you very much,
Right.
Glad as I say already, bringing us entertainment news. That's it for News Today on Joy News on Multi TV. You can go to myjoyonline.com for more news. I'm Francisca Kakra Forson. Thank you very much for your company.